Sometimes I light a cigarette to throw away my care, but when I'm finished lighting it, the ashes.
Hello there, everyone. It's Christy here. I was recently reminded of a tweet put out by Richard Dawkins from July of this year. In it, he writes, "Islam needs a feminist revolution. It will be hard. What can we do to help?" Now, before I go any farther, I wanted to shout out a documentary that I saw advertised just last night. It's a short film from the New York Times called Ladies First, Saudi Arabia's Female Candidates, and it was directed by New York Times reporter and video journalist Mona El-Nagar and was edited by Adam Bolt, one of the two editors behind Inside Job, the Academy Award-winning documentary. The film follows three female candidates running in the first elections in Saudi Arabia that allowed women to both vote and run for office. I'll put links to the documentary in the description box below. Back to the Dawkins tweet. As an atheist and a feminist, I strongly support this sentiment from Professor Dawkins. The fact is that atheist and feminist critique actually strengthen each other, despite what you might have heard from others. It's really easy to see the way that feminism and atheism can double-team religion to delegitimize it, once you think about it. Atheism questions the very premise upon which religions claim their authority and power, divine beings or a divine being. And in ancient times, when women were considered property, access to and the ability to speak for that divine power and wield authority in its name and on its behalf was usually claimed by specific groups of men. Whether that be men in a certain tribe, as in Judaism, or men who forged writings to push women to the side in church leadership, as with the pastoral letters in Christianity, or the exclusively male leadership of Islam, ancient sexism and even contempt for women and our abilities was an integral part of religious life. Even the so-called progressive Pope Francis today refuses to even consider ordaining women. Patriarchy is alive and well in the 21st century in all parts of the globe. Feminism, building on this, questions why we should give someone power and status simply on the basis of whether or not they have a penis. Maybe in the ancient world, men thought their penises were magic wands and that they gave them special magical powers. But that idea today is just laughable. However, this idea that being a man confers some sort of power and ability to overrule women is still part of Western culture and other cultures. An example of this can actually be found in the film Iron Man 3, and it really popped out at me when I watched the film the first time. The line happens in a scene where Tony and Pepper are arguing in front of their big bunny as to whether or not they should leave Tony's mansion. Pepper says, "Trust me, we're going out of town." Tony replies, "Nope." Pepper says, "Yep." And Tony replies, "The man says no." The man says no. I can actually remember laughing out loud at that line because it sounded so impotent. If your argument for why you get to make the decisions is that you have a penis, you've lost the argument. But that isn't the case in monotheistic religions. Excluding the various liberal sects of various faiths, being a man is the reason a father or a husband can make decisions for, or judge, or punish the people in his family or his community. So yes, Islam needs a feminist revolution. I agree. So does the Catholic Church. So does many forms of Judaism. And those are just the monotheistic faiths. We haven't moved on from those. Feminist revolutions are needed in all religions, in my feminist atheist opinion. Now on to Professor Dawkins' question, what can we do to help? First, atheists need to embrace feminist critique, not find Tumblr feminists to be the basis of video outrage, or to get attention or views for themselves. There is only one theoretical critique available to those who want to undermine the idea that a man has power over the women in his life simply because he is a man. And that critique is feminism. It was and is feminist critics who decided to pay attention to how power in society is structured based on sex. And it was and is feminist critiques that expose such arbitrary assignments of power and status as irrational, unjustified, and an affront to human rights. A goal of feminism is to delegitimize power structures that are justified on the premise that authority naturally belongs to men. Religion is vulnerable to this sort of critique. Religious folks who want to justify male power have to make up lies about men and women's natures in order to justify perpetuating the sexist system. They have to confine men and women to roles that are no longer relevant or considered appropriate outside the Bronze Age. The next thing we can do is to not limit the feminist critique to just Islam. Yes, I agree, it's easy to see and criticize the way that Islam dehumanizes women. But can European and American Christians, especially Catholics, shake their finger at Islam while the Catholic Church and many other Christian denominations use the exact same logic to exclude women from religious life? As an atheist, I think the Pope is full of shit, but I also think that a woman should be able to be as full of shit as Pope as a man can be. So the second answer is to lead by example. We need more atheists to do feminist critique. We need more atheists using feminist arguments against all religions. When those of us in the West hold our religious institutions to the same standards we want to apply to Islam, the more credibility we will have. And finally, my last answer is that we need to find Muslim feminists and former Muslims who want to see a feminist reformation and modernization of Islam and support them as allies. Look, I can make all the videos I want beating up on Islam, but since my audience comes mainly from the United States and the UK, other than making all those people who love to hate on Islam more content to watch, I can't change a damn thing in the Islamic world. That is why I financially support channels like The Skeptic Feminist, who are committed to that particular sort of activism. They do a great job of talking to men and women who have personal experience with Islam and who are working to change things using their own experiences and knowledge to do so. As a former Catholic, now atheist, feminist of European descent, there are probably 0 practicing Muslims who are going to be swayed by what I have to say. So yes, Islam needs a feminist revolution. I agree. But then again, all the monotheistic religions need a feminist revolution. And so, to sum up again, the ways I think we can help are: 1. The atheist community should embrace feminist critique as an important theoretical framework when challenging religions. 2. Critique religious sexism in all its forms and wherever we see it, and help people see the extent to which religions are sexist and dehumanizing. 3. Find an ally with Muslim feminists and other Muslim moderates and reformers. And if you don't know anyone like that, then support people and channels who do that sort of work as part of their activism. So those are my thoughts, and I'm sure there will be plenty of reactions to them. But until next time, all that's left to be said is that I've been Christy, you've been awesome, thanks for your time and attention, and I'll see you again really soon. Bye-bye.